Why didn't you ever play for Nigeria? What happened?
They said you're not Nigerian enough.
This is Sports Zone on Lagos Talks 91.3.
All right, good morning, guys. Welcome to Sports Zone, live on Lagos Talks 91.3. Today's the Thursday, yes, and we have a very special guest in the building. I wish this was one of those days in which we had our cameraman do us an Instagram live.
I'm telling you. Can I
so that when I say that our guest is
smoking,
is extra beautiful,
hot,
it would not be me exaggerating. You know, so you can see for yourselves.
Oh,
so you can see for yourselves.
I'm so sorry. I should have worn my bib this morning.
Alright, so our guest is a Nigerian American professional basketball player. She's also an ESPN analyst, and an advocate as well. Born on the 21st of March, I'm not going to tell you what year, to Nigerian parents, but born in America. And when I saw her this morning, I thought,
walk around with her passport.
Huh?
Trump and things.
She's an original American.
Yeah, I know what I mean. Original. Once I'm white, they go ask you, say, my grandfather. Just I Santis.
Yeah, she's quite intimidating. When I saw her this morning, she stands at 6'3", 6 feet 3 inches.
Yeah, absolutely.
It reminded you are not that tall.
Oh yes. You know, I kind of thought I had a bit of height, but yeah. Anyway, so she's here to talk about basketball and everything concerning basketball. She attended the Stanford University, majoring in international relations, and professional basketball career has taken her quite a few places, to be honest. Debut WNBA, selected as the #1 overall pick by the Connecticut Sun. In the 2014 WNBA draft, making history alongside her sister, who is named Nneka. And rather unfortunately, they never got to play for Nigeria. Nneka wanted to, but she didn't get the chance. But it's a pleasure and an honor to have Chinenye Ogumike.
Yes.
But she's better known as Chini. You know, so it's good to have you here, Chini. How are you?
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good to be with you all. Thank you for the kind words. You guys are funny. You're funny.
From the bottom of our hearts. At least bottom of my heart.
It's a pleasure to be here. Good to be back home.
Good to be back home. Mm-hmm. What does it feel like to be home?
Amazing. I'm not gonna lie. Usually when I come here at least 2 to 3 times a year.
Okay.
Here, Lagos, a little less frequent because my family tends to be in Abuja. So it's usually Abuja or it's Owerri in Imo State. So I feel like I'm of age to be able to step outside in Lagos. So that's why my voice. I'm proud I woke up this morning. I've been enjoying the city because normally I come in for work, for basketball camps, for speaking engagements. But I stayed a little bit longer because I wanted to feel the energy of the city this time.
Okay.
And the city is energy heavy.
Yes.
And I'm having the time of my life. So thank you for having me.
What have you been doing since you came?
Preparing. And also really just being excited because everywhere I go, I see young girls that recognize me because of their passion for basketball. So I've been doing a little bit of this, a little bit of that. So let's just talk work first. First, I've been preparing for Queens Weekend, which is this weekend. I have a foundation called Queens of the Continent, which I am thrilled to be in partnership with the Basketball Africa League. I'm their first female ambassador. Woo woo.
Yeah, we got the bell for that. Yes.
Yes. And we have a couple of really amazing elite camps this weekend. But the thing that really inspires me the most is we have a leadership summit that's happening tomorrow as well. And to me, you could be passionate about playing, but not everyone goes pro in basketball. But you might want to be a coach. You might want to be someone that owns a team. You might want to be a broadcaster. Why not share the joy?
Stakeholder.
You want to be a stakeholder. Yes, exactly. You might want to be an architect that builds gyms and courts, which we technically really need right now. And so I wanted to open it up to a forum with a couple of celebrity guests. I'm so excited. Some family friends, some extended friends back here in Nigeria. And so I've been working towards that. Now, personally, I've been outside. It's been nice. I mean, it's been good to see, the development, to see, I've been in every market, I've been in every store, I've been in every restaurant, I've been in every, well, not every, but a couple lounges. And it's just really, it reminds me of the power and potential of not just this country, but this continent, and the beauty and the harmony. And so to be able to not just come here for work, but also be able to breathe and enjoy.
So I'm ready to mix.
Yeah, it's a mix and match. It's been, honestly, I could not have had a better trip.
Okay, so we're going to talk about this and what it is that you intend to do in terms of giving back to your country. Yeah. But before we get there, why didn't you ever play for Nigeria? What happened?
So I'll give you the honest answer.
Yeah.
I grew up in Houston, Texas, born and raised in Houston, Texas. I'm one of the 4 Ogumake sisters. I'm number 2. Shout out to the middle children. I love it. We live in peace. And, I grew up in a Nigerian household. We don't speak Igbo. I'm Igbo. But I understand pretty well. But culturally,
you can understand.
I can understand. Now, if you're talking about me, I understand clearly. Now, if you're just talking general, I'll be like,
So if I said Omali Cham, you know what I'm saying?
Oh, yes, Omali Cham. Yeah, I know that. And so to be able to grow up, I was in a household that prioritized education, like every household here. But 4 girls, 1 house, being young, they're like, we need to put them into an activity. And so they put us into basketball. We fell into basketball. Honestly, there were some windy roads along the way, but we fell into basketball and we fell in love with it. And so when we started playing basketball, the infrastructure for high-level competition for Nigeria was just not there.
At that time?
At that time. This was the early 2000s. So, we did not plan to be basketball players. It just happened that we were tall, and my mom's co-worker said, take those girls out of gymnastics, Simone Biles, and put them into basketball. That's where they could potentially shine.
How old were you at that time?
I was probably 9, and my older sister was around 10 or 11.
Wow,
so it's late for the USA.
Really?
Most people, if you can walk in Texas, they put you in a football helmet and football, American football. You're playing sports, And so when we were growing up, being young, 10 years old, 12, we got good very quickly. And I'll never forget, around the age 15, 16, my sister and I, my older sister and I only have like a year and a half separation. We were competing, and the USA sent envelopes. They sent coaches immediately. They said, we have these camps, we have these clinics. We were aware of their program. They had U16s, U18s, U19s, U21s.
And
they had
World College scholarships and things.
Yes, they had a training center in Colorado. So they came to you and they pursued you. But around 16 years old, 17, we started getting informal, maybe casual emails from the Nigerian Basketball Federation, but it just wasn't nearly as professional.
No follow-up.
There was follow-up, but it was gyms that were not available, or places that parents probably would not necessarily feel comfortable taking their young ones. Like, oh, you don't know if the gym is open. You don't know if the players are going to be available. You don't know if we have resources to help you train. There were a lot of question marks. And so when we had to make a decision, the USA was knocking down our door. And Nigeria, it just was not all the way there.
It was a soft tap on the door.
It was a soft tap, but it was also a lot of questions. And for parents that have to leave their children in the gym and go, they wanted to make sure we were taken care of, because there was no hierarchy of pursuits. Like, here's the president of the federation. This is what we're trying to do. These are our competitions. There was a lot of question marks.
Hierarchy of pursuits. Interesting. Okay.
And so we just went into USA basketball. And it was great, but that was all we knew, at a high level. And eventually, when it came down to it, we got to a very close level of being Olympians. Obviously, my older sister was pursuing for the USA national team. She was the best player in the world in 2016, a WNBA MVP, a WNBA champion. And I'm not going to lie, they played with her. She's the only MVP in the WNBA to not be named an Olympian. There are a lot of politics universal, that went into that. But what
the winning MVP could not get it too
because of the politics.
Okay.
And I don't want to, I'm trying to keep it positive.
Yeah, I understand.
But when that happened, we felt like at that time she could make such a bigger impact playing back home. Now, people didn't know behind the scenes that we're coming back home all the time. That I'm doing basketball clinics 2 to 3 times a year in Lagos, in Abuja. I've gone to Nairobi, Kenya. I've been to Kigali. I've been to Joburg. I've been to Cape Town. I've been to Cote d'Ivoire. I've been to Luanda, Angola.
Wow.
So we've been doing this work, but my mom and our parents and my dad, they taught us not to be broadcasted, just do it well. And so it was frustrating because the federation said, okay, you haven't played in the Olympics, cool, she should be able to play for her home country. We have Nigerian blood, you know, but they said you're not Nigerian enough. And to us,
who said that?
I mean, let me not make some noise,
paraphrasing, okay.
but basically I'm paraphrasing the decision, saying that,
well, that's the impression that you got.
they said, prove to us how Nigerian you are, and that's what we had to do.
What did that mean?
That means show documentation of your relationship with the country. Show documentation that you are proof that.
Your name.
This was coming from the Nigerians.
No, the FIBA Federation.
Okay, FIBA. Okay.
FIBA was asking. So in
Okay.
order to apply for a transfer, because my sister had been representing USA through their world competitions, but not the Olympics, they said, oh, if you want to switch, the goal of that is to promote, you know, in their mission is, you have to show that you are one of the country, but also you're here to promote the development of the sport. Born and raised in Houston, Texas, yes, but we're citizens of Nigeria. We come back all the time. We engage in not only family activities, but also professional activities to help develop the game. So we went and we tried, but you know,
I need to understand this. I mean, it's prove that you're Nigerian.
They didn't say it literally, but that's what we had to do. We had to go through and provide as much documentation, childhood photos, you know, activities. Like,
but is that what they do with other nationals? Whatever happened to your desire to want to represent a particular country? We
desire that. I mean, this is my older sister's biggest dream. I don't play anymore. I mean, maybe I would try to come back to play for the Olympics, but I'm not playing anymore. I'm not formally retired because it's hard to get used to it. But it just is. It's challenging because this was her biggest dream, to be an Olympian.
Wow. And
she was denied on the basis that denied politically in the U.S., but then also denied back home, and it was from people that claim to want to grow the game globally.
Anyway, it's a good thing that you usually regularly come home. So now you guys want to give back to your country, yeah? Talk to us about this clinic. Who can participate? Who is it for? At the age of 11, 12, can you still be part of this?
Sure.
Can you have a career in basketball?
Well, I'm very grateful to be here in a room full of very strong, powerful, handsome men. Okay?
Well, that's just me.
Thank you. Thank you.
But have you not noticed that oftentimes when opportunities come, whether it's shows, because I also work as a broadcaster, or sports, it's men first.
It's men, yeah.
It's young men first. It's boys first. And as someone who has represented NBA Africa on multiple levels for over a decade, ever since I became a pro, I go and do these camps and clinics, like I mentioned, throughout the continent. And it was primarily young boys and men. And I'll never forget, I studied here. People, they say, oh, prove how, all that type of stuff, which is fine. I don't mind, because I always take every opportunity to celebrate my culture. But I studied here. They made an exception at Stanford University. You mentioned me being international relations.
California, yeah?
Yes, correct.
How come you went all the way from Texas to go to school in California?
Because the heat in Texas, we had to get the breeze in California.
Okay.
Because it's one of the best. It's the combination of the best of both worlds.
It's an Ivy League university.
Ivy League, essentially, but then also has the top sports program.
Okay.
So it was the best of both worlds for my sister and I.
Okay.
And you mentioned my IR degree. I earned that degree under the tutelage of former Secretary of State Condoleezza Rice.
Wow.
She, I have a crazy story. I don't know how much time.
Go ahead, please.
But when I was getting, when you're being pursued as a top athlete, you take official visits to these schools where they try to get you to come to the school.
Yeah.
Now, most people back then, they'd have, you guys are familiar with the musician Drake. Yeah. So Drake's at Kentucky, there are parties and all those types of things to get the athletes to go. I'm a nerd. And so when I went on my official visit, there was Condoleezza Rice that they introduced me to. The Chief Justice of the Supreme Court, John Roberts, was there. Really? And then a couple of dignitaries.
He's still there.
Exactly, he's still there.
Yeah.
And that's who I met at Stanford. And I was like, oh my gosh, I just met a superstar. That's when I knew I was destined to go there. So we beat a big team, UConn, women's basketball, dynasty in the U.S. And after that game, the game was at home. I thought from my junior year in high school, I had not seen former Secretary Rice until my freshman year when she attended that game. She came to the locker room after the game, was like, hey, Chine. I was like, oh my gosh, she remembers me? She remembers me? Oh my gosh. She said, you told me on your official visit you're interested in politics and international relations. What are you doing? Are you participating in class? And I was like, I'm trying my best. I'm a freshman. There's a lot being thrown at me. She said, meet me tomorrow in my office. I went to her office. Her office is just regalia. It's amazing. You go through room to room to room. Then you see the huge American flag. Then you see all of her pictures with world leaders. And I'm a freshman, and I'm like, oh my gosh, what I've got myself into.
I think she was secretary sit on George Bush. Yes.
She was. She was. And what she taught me, because at that time as a freshman, I thought that I couldn't give my best to both. Okay, I have to work so hard in basketball to be great in basketball. Hopefully I have enough energy for school. She said, Chine, you can be great in both. Because when you're in school, you're resting. You're just activating your mind. And that changed everything for me. And so later on, 2 years later, when I'm a junior, I pursue the major that she oversees, which is international relations. But I went to her one time, and she said, Chine, are you okay? Because we had lost in the NCAA tournament. And I said, I'm okay. You know, my sister had just gone pro, so I was by myself for the first time in a long time. And I said, you know, I'm trying to think. Our major requires us to go study abroad. But typically the programs are China, Europe. I really want to go home and study. And she made the exception for me. So I was allowed to go in my junior year and study here. I interned at the Ministry of Petroleum.
Wow.
Yes, under Dizani Allison Madwick during her time. I spent 8 weeks learning, and then that's when I went to a basketball camp. So it's a long way to say, on my day off, I went to a basketball camp in Benin City, and I saw 2 courts, hundreds of kids, and 1 girl.
Wow.
And she was sitting under a tree to the side saying, I don't know if I can go out there. I said, sis, let's go. If you love the game, you love the game. Don't be afraid to play just because you don't see people like you. And so ever since then, it's been my mission to allow young girls and young women to feel like they can play, that they are front and center, that their dreams are valid. And so working with NBA Africa, working with the Basketball Africa League, I've been able to create programs that strategically put young girls and women first so that they feel like they have the same shot as the boys.
How long has this been going on?
So I launched my foundation a year ago at the UN General Assembly, which was awesome. I've done a couple events. I did one with the Houston Rockets back home during their Nigerian night celebration, which was special. And now this is the big formal launch back home. Now, I will say this. We don't exclude young men or young girls. Because we need allies, we need advocates, we need people. Because if a girl goes out there and she's the only one, they should let her play too. You know, they should make it. We should normalize that.
But you know, the ironical thing is, even though you are not able to play for Nigeria for one reason or the other, the Tigresses have done so well in doing what you're doing as well, creating that recognition. For ironically, there when it comes to basketball, the name on everybody's lips. So that is actually working hand in hand with what you're trying to promote as well. They've really popularized basketball. Not losing on the continent in 10 years, five tournaments, winning back to back.
The Tigers, they're phenomenal, and I know a number of those players, and they have been so committed. They have succeeded not because, but in spite of all the challenges that they've had to deal with. I know what it's been like because I hear from them, because they have asked me for some support. Man, our gym is 45 minutes away. Man, we don't have the resources, but they're still winning. And that should tell you, if you give people at least a level, can you imagine what we'd be doing if we had resources? Like, dominance would be through the roof. Those women are so special.
The talent is there.
And then we're seeing more and more of them, like Amy Okonkwo, I believe. She's now in the WNBA. Like, a number of players are getting more and more. Our coach is an assistant coach of the Chicago Sky in the WNBA. There's a growing level of legitimacy of the women, and the women are leading the way. And you love to see it. My mom always says this. This is my favorite quote by her. Tiny drops of water make a mighty ocean. So everyone is dropping their little piece to change the tides, to turn the tides. And so the national team, our Nigerian women's national team, doing their part. As a broadcaster, as an advocate, I'm going to try to do my part. My sister, who's always playing in the U.S. right now, she's in year 14, 10-time WNBA All-Star. Her
14 years.
14 years and 10-time WNBA All-Star. The only year she was an All-Star was the years that she was not in the Olympics, where they don't really have an All-Star game. Level.
So let's talk about emerging talent, in this country. You've been doing this for a year, what kind of talents have you discovered so far? Is there some sort of future for the girls in camp?
So the National Basketball Association, which oversees the WNBA and the Basketball Africa League, decided that its first league should be outside of the country and on this continent, the Basketball Africa League. Why? Because they understand the talent. You know, oftentimes I'm based in the U.S., so you see all the headlines and narratives. 99% of it is about fighting over resources, decisions over resources, natural resources, but the biggest resource are human resources, the talent we have. People know. I was there with President Biden in Angola. I was a member of the White House Diaspora Council that he launched 2 years ago. One of those pinch me moments. We went to Angola. There's such a huge investment in the future because that stat is going around. 1 in 4 people on this planet by 2050 will be African. They know what's coming. They know the talent is here. If you walk down the street, me as a basketball player, I'm like, that's a player. That's a player. That's a player. The problem is the mindset, particularly when it comes to girls, is not there yet to take it serious, but that's what we're trying to change. So I think the talent is through the roof. I'm so excited. My camp will be 2 portions. The one will be a very elite camp. So I'm going to get all the top 18 to 23-year-old women who are already hooping. Some of them can dunk. Women dunking. They'll be at my elite camp. And then the second day, they'll serve as coaches and mentors for the top U16s. And so the talent is here. Now we just have to harvest it the same way we harvest any other resource.
Okay, so there's a parent listening now and thinking, my daughter is 5'9", she just wakes up every morning and does absolutely nothing.
Does she have to be really, really tall? I mean, I know there's some point guards or something.
Yes, point guards, combo guards.
Don't have to be like 6 foot plus. I mean, I think it's about being mobile, being about athletic, about being able to jump.
Yes.
I think you guys were like, when you were growing up, were just basically, you could have played any sports.
True.
If you happen to be tall.
When Steph Curry came into the NBA and had a couple of rough years at the start, a lot of people said he wasn't built for the NBA. He's too small. I've stood next to Steph Curry. I know him pretty well. He's probably my height.
Really? And
a little bit taller, maybe. I've stood next to Giannis Antetokounmpo. I've stood next to Joel Embiid. Some of the biggest, true African giants.
How about Shaq? Have you ever met Shaq?
Well, I've seen Shaq too many times. He's not serious.
Shaq
So as I was saying, there's somebody listening now who wants to get their daughter in camp, and doesn't know how to go about it.
I guess the way I'm bringing up Steph is that Steph, when he came into the NBA, people said he was not built physically for it, but he became a specialist. And there's room for specialists in sports. So you may not have the height, but if you're an excellent passer like Chris Paul, who is smaller than me, one of the top assisters, you can find a space in the game. In the WNBA, there's a woman by the name of Kelsey Plum, one of the best shooters I've ever seen, that works so hard. This might be too much, but there are stories about how she is in the gym, and when you come in, you look at the ball, there's a little bit of like blood on the ball, because she's been shooting in the gym until her fingers sort of bleed.
Wow.
That's dedication. I wasn't at that level. But my point is that if you care and you work hard, and especially if you're a parent, now basketball is not the end all be all. You can't just focus on one thing. You can't put all your eggs in one basket. I would tell the parents, education is key. But nowadays, when you have education and you have a side hustle, whether it's sports, music, entertainment, tech, you'd be surprised that education you receive and you supporting your kid in their passion, that side hustle, there's so many people turning those into main hustles. Sports was a side hustle for us. That is now my family's main hustle. Many of these artists, great, super smart, it's now their main hustle. So I think you can support not only your kids getting education, and there's something I always tell, I think it's important for many people to know the statistics. So I work on TV and I'm known as the numbers girl. I like to bring up numbers because I work with men. And oftentimes they're like, why are you speaking on the NBA as a woman? I'll say, okay, here are the facts I know, so you can't say I'm wrong.
We've got a few questions for you.
Can I just share this one part, if you don't mind?
Go ahead.
Every year that a girl stays in school, she increases, in Nigeria, her earning potential by 10%.
Every year?
Every year she stays in school. So she advances to a new level, her earning potential increases by 10%. Keep her in school. 90%, young girls, 2 women, when they make money, they invest 90% of that money back into their community here in Nigeria. If you want to support your community and also bring money and also
build up the girl child.
Build up the girl child.
I hear you.
So here's a question. Do you have a long-term athletic development program in place?
Oh, yes, I absolutely do. So the camps are one thing. and it's amazing. My goal too is for my foundation to raise funds so that we can alleviate some of the problems that, let's say, D-Tigers have with federation issues. So if I can raise a certain amount of funds so that when they train, they can train in nice places, they can have access to the top-notch facilities, that's part of my foundation.
That's before the tournaments.
Yeah, exactly. Leading into the next Olympics, I have a foundation that can help make sure they train properly instead of relying on tight resources. And then lastly, the only way, you know what they say, if you build it, they will come. The only way we can support the young generation, the rising generation's dreams, is by literally building their dreamland, which is courts, which is schools, which is arenas, which is stadiums. I was recently in Rwanda for Giants of Africa, an amazing foundation with Masai Ujiri, a Nigerian, who worked with President Paul Kagame and built 2 arenas.
Toronto Raptors, yeah?
Yes, correct. Super successful, amazing man. He built 2 arenas in the span of 3 years in Kigali. He flew in 320 children from 20 countries for a competition, and it was amazing. But he created an infrastructure that's not just for sports. When you build an arena, you know who's coming in there? Uncle Waffles, Timaya, entertainment, venues. You're building a sustainable business. And you know when you build an arena for sports, you have hotels, you have restaurants, you have vendors. You build an infrastructure for community. And so that's a long-term plan. If you build it, they will come.
So as I asked earlier, they do want to find you. They want to be part and parcel of what you're doing. How do they locate you?
Social media. My name is Chinenye Wumike, obviously. But my social media handles are at Chine. CHINEY. First name. That's
CHI.
Chin on your face, like the chin on your face. Chin. EY.
EY.
Okay.
Yes.
There's no physical structure.
One N.
There's no physical structure here in Lagos.
There is not one yet. There are a couple small, like for example, I'm having my camp at a school because schools tend to have gyms.
Which school?
But there's no, I don't want to put it out there because I don't want to cause too much ruckus. But I previously done, I forgot. Not just my first event for Queens of the Continent, my foundation was at Queens College. A year ago, because my mom went to Queens College, and that's the namesake of my foundation, to celebrate the queens of our continent. So I go to Queens a lot. But yeah, there's no dedicated physical structure. And when I first got here, I was fortunate to go to His Excellency the Governor's office, and that was the conversation. How do we build it? So hopefully it'll happen soon.
Okay, so the best way to reach out to you is via social
media. I do have a website, but it's loading. So social media is the best. CHINEY. Hit me in the DMs if you love sports. I love the energy, and it's good to be back home, surrounded by handsome men here in the studio.
All right, so if you do want to talk to Chinenye, please put a call across. 1 or 2 calls.
And please don't ask personal questions. We're not answering any questions.
She's married. Chinenye is married.
Thank you.
Chinenye is married. Let me just put that out there. So she's not available.
So don't call if that's the case.
Okay. Wait. Shena here they pain me. I be no be Chinenye voice that they hear. So feels like I'm watching a new episode of NBA today. Nneka has to come over to the camp too, and he says a big please. There are lots of centers, guys, that I have seen and know. Honestly, I haven't met a lot of female basketballers, but there's something that my faculty does in interdepartmental games. This is Tunde from Ogun State.
I follow Unilag. Have you done something with the Best of Lagos? They have an excellent sports center.
I went and spoke at Unilag once. But yes, we're trying to partner with universities. That's coming up for the next season.
There's somebody online who wants to talk to you. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Charles.
Good morning.
Good morning.
morning.
I to greet you. Thank God you are in our midst. My name is Nigerian Mentorship. But there are some of us who live around Agbado. How can you reach out to us?
Social media.
Social media.
Okay, but Chine, that's a viable question. Lagos is a big place. How are you going to spread the reach, so to speak? I mean, like from what you're saying, we spoke about Queen's College, Unilag, and I'll assume the school you're talking about is on the island, yeah?
Yes.
How about the hinterlands, the Agbado, Jai, Abule Egba, that place, Egbeda, all those places?
I'm not just trying to keep it here, local.
Okay.
A couple days ago, 3 days ago, I was in Owerri. And so I'm going state by state, you know, and I'm from Imo State. Proudly, my dad is Nze Peter Ogumike Jr. My mom is from Anambra State. So as much as I love to be in Lagos, because a lot of the basketball players are here, I try to go back home. And what I did in Owerri, back home in the Imo State, was host a gear giveaway. So they hosted us. The deputy governor, Her Excellency, hosted us. Oh, yes, sir.
Good morning. How you doing? Good morning. Chile.
Good morning, sir.
Yeah, so happy to hear from you.
Thank you.
I'm happy that you are in the studio so that we don't have to discuss Manchester United.
Simon.
Are you not happy?
Thank you, sir.
By the time I want to talk about Manchester United, the pay would have reduced.
It has reduced. I woke up this morning fine and hearty. And
so you do not play for Nigeria at all, Abi?
No.
I have not.
No.
I trained for a session, but no.
Okay, I'm so happy that you are giving back. God bless you.
Amen.
Thank you so much, sir.
All right, another question says, how do you identify talent, skill, or physical attributes?
Thank you very much for that question. By through these camps. So the great thing about the NBA and the Basketball Africa League is that they host camps across the continent. And so at those camps, they're not just teaching the kids, they're identifying them as well. I think a good example of this, I've been trying to reach for over a year, a young woman by the name of Favor. I think she might be at my camp, but maybe some of you guys know her in Lagos. She's around this area. I believe she's 6'6", 6'7", so 3 inches taller than me, and she can dunk. And she has so much potential. And so the way we reach them
is... You don't know that she's playing professionally?
Not yet. She's trying to get to that level.
Okay.
It's hard to get across the Atlantic.
No, I'm talking about professional playing.
Oh, yes, she is. Yes,
okay.
She's training in Nigeria, but honestly, we need her to go probably to the U.S. to play in top-notch universities to train. You know, and so a good example is we have these camps, and while we're hosting these camps, we're also identifying the kids that can actually go. And one of the core elements that I'm going to do at my camp is a combine. You know, in sports, you have combines, you height, weight, jump, speed, dribble. That's so that I can actually have data. So when I go back home, I can say, I found 3 young women that are this tall that can make 5 threes, 3-point shots, and they'll be like, oh, wow, I'm interested. Let's get them
defend, that can
But it also happens locally and informally, too. I've had people send me WhatsApp messages that know me that say, I know this girl, we need to help her, we need to get her here. So it's all hands on deck.
Okay.
All right, so when you identify these talents, Chini, what next? You give them scholarships?
Okay, so that's the goal, the ultimate goal, but it's very challenging, especially considering the state of politics in the U.S. It's much more difficult to get across now. But the best thing I can do in the interim while we're fighting to get these young women opportunities is maintain touch, mentorship. I do a lot of one-on-ones with these players. So they'll ask me like, hey, I'm struggling with my parents. I'm trying to explain to them that my basketball practice, I'm getting good grades, but they don't let me go. Or I'll go on Zoom with a number of them. I'll go on FaceTime. So right now it's just keeping their spirits up. You know, I think oftentimes I meet not just women's basketball players, female entrepreneurs. I spoke at the Tony Elumelu Foundation.
Oh, brilliant.
And that entire room, the young women were like, you know, it's hard being a female businesswoman. Like, I take so much pressure. And all I say is, hey, guess what? I take the same pressure too. Even though you think I'm succeeding, we're all feeling the same heat. But know that it's something, a shared feeling. Know that every woman is in that same position. And so it's just having constant conversations to let them know, even though you might see me on TV or on a pedestal, we still have the same blood and we still walk the same path and we still feel the same things. So the number one thing I can do is just make people feel better until we have the opportunity to give them their shot at success.
Thank you so much, Chini, for being on the show with us. We do have to go. Our time is up. Once again, that's social media handles so they can get in touch with you.
Chineye Ogumike, Chine for short. And you can tag me, at me, find me on social, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, not on Snapchat. CHINEY. I just want to say I love Nigeria. I love being back home. And this is just the beginning.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. A pleasure having you on the show.
It's a pleasure being in the presence of genuine celebrity.
Oh my goodness, I don't know about that.
Thanks a lot.
Stay blessed. Thank you very much.
Darling. Thank you so much. God bless you.